Well, here we are, another shop tour. So just want to say welcome to Gary's Garage. I'm Gary, and I've been really enjoying all these shop tours on YouTube, and there's just never enough shop tours. I love seeing what other people have done in their shops, and it's given me a lot of ideas over the years to improve my shop. So I'm really grateful for those who have taken the time to do this. And I thought this would be a good time for me to do it. I was never planning on doing it, but I got I'm planning on getting some new machinery or changing out some of my machinery in my shop in the next 6 months. I thought, this would be a good time to just do a quick tour of what my shop really looks like, the equipment that I have in it right now. Because it's been really useful to me. I've learned a lot on these machines. And it's a really small shop. Like, I'm talking tiny here. Like 100 square feet is half of the basement of my house here. It's only like 120 square feet, so it's absolutely tiny. But I have this, and I also have a garage, detached garage, where I do my fabrication and welding, and machine restoration there. And I also have a separate location where I store machinery. So I'm really quite lucky that my wife has allowed me to have this space. But anyway, let's get started. So this, of course, is the entrance to my shop, and starting over to the right, I keep a cubby hole system here of things or tools that I need to just quickly grab. There'll be like drills, vices, and what I got here. I got some cast iron plates, indexing heads and chucks, deburring station, 3C spindexer, a grinder in there with CBN wheels. And then moving down here, I keep my material, just loose material supply. It would be nice to have it in a cabinet or in a drawer. I know Blondie Hacks did that, and it looks really cool. But I have limited drawer space, so I have to sort of keep it out here in the middle. This here is my tool steel collection. I have a bit of a tool steel collection. I keep welding rods here to keep them dry, because it's nice and dry in my shop. And then over here I have a bin of plastics, which is great to have for doing all kinds of stuff. And then down here, just stuff that I don't use that often. Even a sewing machine. Sometimes I do sew some stuff. Yes, I'm supposed to be working out every once in a while. I should be following Clow 42's example and have a gym in my shop. That would work out really well. And routers down here. Anyway, moving over to the right. On this side of the shop, I keep my grinding stuff. So this would be your typical bench grinder. It's an 8-inch. Here I have a drill bit grinder. This has been really useful. The first one I had, which was a better version of this, I sold. I couldn't get used to figuring out how to use it. It didn't work out for me, but I ended up buying another one, and this one worked out well, so I use it quite regularly. Thanks to Stefan Gottswinter, I have a tool and cutter grinder here, or D-bit grinder, I mean. Tool and cutter grinder, that will be coming later. I'll talk about that later on. So this is a great machine. Really haven't used it much, but I plan on doing all kinds of stuff with it. Really looking forward to it. And this here is a recent acquisition, is a Derrick's end mill grinder. I'm really lucky that I got my hands on this. It was not cheap though, I gotta tell you. The old machinist that was selling this would not move on price, and it was pricey. So yeah, it is in really good shape. It's got very little use. I've mounted one of my aluminum oxide wheels to it, but it did come with a diamond cup wheel right here, and these things are like $350 US each. it's pretty good, except it's got a tiny nick in one side. So we'll see how that will work out for carbide sharpening. Anyway, so that's that. Down here underneath the tool and cutter grinder, I have sort of a pull-out system where I keep some of the accessories for the debit grinder. This is kind of a work in progress. Nothing in here really, so that just gets thrown in there. Down there I have a small oxyacetylene setup, chop saw, a little shop heater. Forget about all this right here. This is something that's being sold, tooling with my mill. Fellow's going to pick that up sometime this week. Anyway, continuing to the right, I have here my Grizzly surface grinder, and I bought this brand new. I love it. It's a fantastic tool if you want to improve on if you want to improve on surface finishes on your jobs, and also to get parts down to much better what's the word I'm looking for, tolerances, I guess. It's the only real way to do it is on a surface grinder. And back here so I'm just coming recovering from COVID here, so please excuse my hoarky throat. So I keep wheels here just because I've been finding that keeping them in a bin like down here, they were getting chipped, especially the diamond ones. I toasted, I think, $150 diamond wheel just by knocking all their abrasive off the sides, off the corners. So I just mounted them up here. It looks like I know what I'm doing here. I don't. I'm totally new at this. I've only had my machine for a couple of years, but at least this keeps it out of the shelves and relatively well protected. And I can see right off the bat what I have. I keep my clamps over on this side just because it's a pegboard style thing, so it works relatively well. Just to be able to grab a clamp, use clamps I tend to use quite often. Moving over to the right, this here is a new acquisition, 3 weeks old now, is a 3D printer. It will print carbon fiber and ABS and these other specialty filaments. Great addition to the shop, absolutely love it. Give you an idea, one of the first things I did is I built this little clamp for my vacuum hose so that it stays in place while I'm using the machine, and it kind of just loops around here, comes around and comes into this port right here. And this port, I made this port, I have a CNC Langmuir CNC plasma cutter, so I cut these pieces and weld it all together, and then in use it just sucks dirt up. It works very, very well. But this little gadget, this little clamp, works beautifully for my vacuum hose. It's fantastic what you can do with a 3D printer. Anyway, machine's running right now. It's printing off a part for a friend. And then over here is a filament dryer, because I've been finding the carbon fiber reels have to be dried, otherwise you will not be able to print anything good. And I keep some of my filament right up here. Moving over, I have a 3-ton press, arbor press. This is very handy in the shop, so I don't have to go to the garage and use my hydraulic press, my 20-ton. This does great for popping bearings in and chucks off the arbors. Excuse me again. Machinist toolbox, the basic stuff that you use all the time instead of having it on the desk. It's nicely organized now. I really love this. I think this is a Craftsman. It was owned by a machinist, and I find the quality of these Craftsman toolboxes, I have the top and the bottom, are better than the Kennedys. I have multiple of the Kennedys, and I can tell you these are better built. They just are. I don't know why, but they just are. Really nice if you can find an old Craftsman. And as we move over, this is sort of my bench research station. Everybody should have a computer in their workshop to look things up real quickly. works really well. In my upper cabinets, I keep, basic supplies in here. And yeah, in here as well too, some basic supplies. This is black oxide, chemicals for blackening, your parts. And then I just bought these storage bins for, these are all for fasteners, essentially screws of all kinds. And I just stack them all up right here. I have both imperial and metric sets. And then above that, just some reference books. The surface gauge, well, let's see here. I have down here a surface plate. So if I do need to measure anything quickly, I have it right here, ready to go. Works really well. I really enjoy that. Okay, let's put that back. As I go around, here I have a little bandsaw. This is really useful. I can't stand chopping things with a hacksaw all the time. It just kills me. So this is something I kind of modified, that it's great for chopping, pieces of steel that I need to work with. If I can put it in the vertical mode and, cut material right there, but works great. I added coolant mist to it, and that seems to work out just nicely. And I added some wheels to it as well too, so it can slide in and out. And there you go. That's oh, actually it does go in a little further. There we go. That goes there. Moving along over to the right, I have my little bench grinder, but it's a belt grinder on one side, and it's a small one. It's one of the general ones. Hard to find these belts because they're just an odd size. And on this side right here is a deburring wheel. These things are frigging amazing. I use it all the time. They're pricey though, around $140. And when I say dollars, it's Canadian dollars. But fantastic wheel to have. This one is a 3M, but you can get them at your usual supplier. And then, just some regular tools on this side of the pegboard. And as we move over, I have, a sliding door where I can move big stuff in and out, usually machinery or other things like that. And then my wonderful RF45 mill. This is a fantastic machine. It's not a Bridgeport. It doesn't have the rigidity of a Bridgeport, but it certainly does have the capacity. It's a really, really good machine, I got to tell you. It's really a fantastic machine. I believe Stefan Gottswinter, yes, that's right. He had one, I think his was called an Optimum 45, and it's the same machine. Great machine. It really is. This one is sold. The guy will be picking it up next week. I'll be upgrading to something else. Not too sure yet, but that's coming along. I've made some modifications to this one. I added a precision depth stop and some other things as well too. Really love the machine. It's anybody who has the opportunity to get one, shouldn't hesitate. DRO and everything. So moving along here, just some regular shelving. This is the tool holders that's where the tool holders will go for the milling machine. There's more shelves here for milling machine related stuff. Now as we go around, this is a Lista cabinet. Really, really lucky to have one of these. Recently got it within the last 6 months. This is one of the older styles, but it is great. I am so lucky to have this. I'm telling you guys, I was so excited to get these Lista cabinets. I have 2 of them. As excited as getting a new lathe. That's how exciting they are. They're really amazing, and that's why they also cost a fortune, because they are really great. But anyway, so I got this smaller one right here. I made a custom base for it. Have my tooling that I need, right at a fingertips length for both on the lathe and the milling machine. So I can grab, drill bits that I'll use on either machine in a relatively central area. Excuse me. And here's the top box of that Craftsman machinist box that I have. I have it on this side right here, and I just keep, you know, quick measuring tools and marking tools. It's not all filled up yet, but it will be. I don't need to fill everything up yet. There we go. Let's see, now that's also empty, and there you go. So some basic tools that one would need. This is very useful, guys. It's a loop, and yeah, it's really fantastic, especially when it comes to looking at your carbide inserts. So when you have, let's see here, let me pull one out. When you have carbide inserts, and you know, the edges are really small, you can't necessarily see it with your naked eye. You take the loop and you can really see the cutting edge, and that often will tell you whether or not you need to replace it. You know, or your finish on your cut will also tell you that, but that's one way to inspect it. Looks really great. Excuse me. I'm going to back up here. That's my lathe. This is a Boxford AUD. It's a British lathe. Again, a fantastic machine. It really is fantastic. It's small, but it really does a great job. These are better, without a doubt, than a South Bend. They're it's even better than a South Bend Heavy. It is very, very sturdy, quite rigid for a lathe of this size. Better built. The you know, the pan, for example, a chip pan, that's 3/16 steel. It's really quite thick stuff, and is built like that all the way around. It's a great machine, and I've had a South Bend as well too. They're really nice machines, but this really is a step up. You know, same class, but just better built. And I have a Duro on it as well too, and a control box that I built with a VFD in it. I won't open this up now. I'll do that on another video when I do a lathe thing. The tool holders are kept right up here. This backsplash is something that I built for the lathe, and it just works fine. It just keeps the dirt out and holds some of my tools. And then back here I also have air that, you know, it's always handy to have some air near any of your machines. And just some more shelves for the lathe, and as I move around is where my other much bigger Lista cabinet is. And you know, I got this one at auction, and I had to bid a lot of money to get it because a lot of people were wanting it as well. Very happy, very, very happy to get this. So I'll quickly open up drawers here. Just miscellaneous electronic and electrical stuff in here, cameras. This is the lighter. I kept the bigger shelf up here for lighter stuff to try to keep heavier weight at the bottom, lighter weight at the top. Down here I have arbors. Not arbors, these aren't arbors. These are, I forget what these are called. Name escapes me. But anyway, other types of cutters and yeah, cutters. Collets, ER32s, R8. These are automatic tapping heads, self-reversing tapping heads, sorry is what they're called. And tooling, these are the Royal Products R8 quick change tooling. They're typically held inside there, but they're out of there right now temporarily. Anyway, there you go, that's that. End mill heaven. All organized with these little storage holders. Most of them are bought. They're Schaller. This one right here is 3D printed because sometimes you need a custom size, which they don't make. But all the rest of them, I'd say 95% of them are from Schaller. And you can just buy them from the website. They're priced not too bad. They're certainly cheaper than the Lista's stuff. Reamers, and this one. I like the narrow, you know, the narrow drawers. Allows you to put a lot more things in here as well. You know, Allen keys and you know, other stuff, boring head related stuff. drills. So this is the drill department, I suppose. I got pretty much every kind of drill that I need around here, plus many that I don't. Again, both in metric and imperial. This is not the greatest setup. You know, I would love to have everything like this where it's sticking up. My wrenches are essentially in tool bags that I made, hence the sewing machine back there. These are fine if you're on the run and going, but they're not great for, you know, you need to quickly grab a wrench. So I'd like to find something like this that I can make or build to get in there and have them sitting up. This is all great. These are your socket sets. What do I have down here? Oh yeah, pin gauges. These are really important. I use these all the time. These are blocks, I believe. Yeah, blocks in here. Anyway, and down here, I believe these are more pin gauges. Right there, and right here. Very, very useful. And then we're getting to heavier stuff down here, setup blocks and parallels. And finally, down here are more setup milling machine setup things, V-blocks and whatnot. So these are the heavier components. All right, and as I come around, this station right here is sort of where I do mostly my deburring. You know, I have a Proxon, I guess, rotary tool, but it's great for deburring with a, let's see here, carbide deburring attachment. Also have a regular Dremel up there. Let me just get this back on. Regular Dremel, excuse me, and a Freedom tool as well too. These are the holders for it, and I have a whole bunch of other ones, you know, laying around for that as well too. And in here, I keep a lot of my stones. I have some precision stones here, and then regular stones, and all kinds of other types of stones that I would need for, you know, deburring and whatnot. Diamond plates. Yeah. And then down here, I forget what I have here. Oh yeah, just miscellaneous wheels for the grinders. And then just some paint supplies here at the very bottom to keep them out of the way. And yeah, so that pretty much wraps it up for the main shop part of the tour. And I will add on the fabrication portion in just a bit here.